My name's Tanner Deason. I'm here because I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic melanoma with a brain tumor. I found out in a razor accident in the middle of the desert about 2 years ago. We rolled it on its side. When I picked it up, I tore my right pec. When I went to the orthopedic doctor, they found I did have a tear, but I also had tumors in my armpit. It was thought it was lymphoma at the time. We did biopsies with a different group of doctors. I was sent up here after we found out it was melanoma to St. John's, and I've been here since. When I was first diagnosed, it was pretty scary. I had, at the time, my son was only about 4.5 months old. My daughter was just turning 2. You know, that weighs pretty heavy. I was then referred to a team in Orange County. They thought it was lymphoma. They specialized in lymphoma. They did a biopsy. We found out it was melanoma. At that point, they told me that they were not as well equipped to deal with what I had and the severity of it as St. John's with Dr. Fischer. I came up here and met with Dr. Fischer along with Dr. Barkhoudarian from the Neuro Institute, as well as Dr. O'Day. When I first met Dr. Fischer, we knew I already had it in my lymph nodes. I took off my shirt. I had a spot on my collarbone. He pointed at that. He's like, that's where it started. After that, we had PET scans done, found out that everything was pretty much contained in my armpit area. And after that, he ordered a brain MRI. We had a brain MRI done. There was a 5/8 mass on my left side that had pushed my brain 3/8 of an inch off center. That night, I got a call from him. He wouldn't even wait over the weekend. I was sitting on the porch at the house about 7:20, 7:30, and he told me, pack a bag. You might need emergency brain surgery. The next day, we met with the whole team. We didn't do surgery that day. We waited about a week, got everything in order. Everybody was on board and went from there. And after meeting with them in neuro and finding how much of a shift I had off of my midline in my brain, Dr. Barkhoudarian thought that the tumor would have probably killed me within 6 months if we wouldn't have found it. So having the accident was truly, it saved my life. I checked in the morning. I think we came up about 4 a.m. We checked in, went into surgery, what seemed like around 9 o'clock. I was more nervous at that point than now. My wife stayed up here. We did the surgery. I saw her that night after I was out of recovery. She went home, the kids. She came and picked me up the next morning. It was all in the height of COVID. I went home the next day, went to a neighborhood barbecue, went back to work that Monday. Surgery was on a Thursday, went back to work Monday. It wasn't bad. It was went well. I've got 3 plates, 8 screws, 2 people that I know of that same diagnosis as I have, and they're no longer alive, and they went to other hospitals instead of coming to see the team that I have up here. Treatment started pretty much immediately. I had brain surgery in September, and treatment started a couple weeks after that. We did radiation, then we went and did brain surgery 2 days after radiation, and then we went into Opdivo and Iravoy, 3 rounds of that. After that, we went on to just a monthly maintenance dose of the Opdivo, and I come once a month for my immunotherapy. We had gone through treatment, everything had cleared up, everything was PET negative except 2 little stubborn ones in my armpit, and they were not sure if those were still active or if it was scar tissue. They couldn't tell from the scans. So we removed those 2. They were still slightly active after they went through pathology, and I've just been on a maintenance dose since then. I have another surgery coming this Tuesday, July 12th, up right here on my collarbone, well, underneath my collarbone. I've got 2 tumors that have shown back up as PET positive. We think that those might be where everything actually started, and they had gone completely PET negative for 3 scan cycles, so 9 months. But we're gonna add some other drugs to the mix, but everybody agrees we're just gonna take them out right now and then introduce another therapy just as a precaution. I'm on the maintenance dose of the immunotherapy still. I had one today. No side effects from it, it's pretty mellow. I'm gonna be going on Bractovy and Mectovy. It's for a BRAF mutation, which I have, and it's been described to me as a lock and key. Like, it only attacks what it's supposed to. And so we're gonna use that as kind of a heavy hitter just to knock these things back out. And the plan is to come off of those relatively soon and just keep up with the immunotherapy. From the start of coming to St. John's, I'll never forget I first met with Carol, who's Dr. Fischer's assistant. She's great. She made me feel better about the whole situation. I remember Christine Boley. She was awesome. She was the one that kept telling me that I wasn't the doctor, that I needed to listen to the team, and she was right. Dr. O'Day was like the sideline cheerleader. He would always tell you you were going to be okay, even if though you didn't feel like you were going to be okay. Through 2 surgeries, everybody was great. We had Genevieve on the neuro team for Dr. Barkhoudarian. She would come and check on me in the hospital. The girls in the infusion room have been great. Everybody's been awesome. It seems like there's a little bit of a family, you know, down even today in the infusion room. There's 4 or 5 of us all talking, and everybody knows the same doctors, the same nurses. Everybody knows, you know, our kids' names, all of that stuff. I wouldn't go anywhere else. It doesn't have the hospital feel. Like once in a while, I'll do a scan or something down in Orange County, and it just doesn't, I was telling the girls today, it doesn't feel the same. I feel like everyone here seems like they're genuinely like invested in having a positive outcome for the patients. You're not just a number, it doesn't seem like. The doctors in Orange County were extremely adamant that I came to either St. John's with this team and the Cancer Institute, or went to Sloan Kettering or MD Anderson. Those are the top 3 for what I have in the nation. And I got lucky enough that this is only an hour and a half from home. So I chose to come up and see this team. And I think the team up here saved my life. And then I think the plan coming together between O'Day, Dr. Fischer, Dr. Barkhoudarian with neuro, and the whole team, they just said, hey, we've got this, don't worry, you're gonna be okay. It's the best place, I think, for the situation at hand. We had a great friend. He passed away in March, and he passed away from leukemia. And he was always the most positive outlook of anyone you could ever know. And he battled it for 10 years. Sorry. He had 2 little kids, same age as my kids. The kids, they're best friends to the day. His wife texts me every day. She knows I'm coming up here. Her and my wife are really close. Without his influence, I don't know that my outlook would have been the exact same. He was someone to look up to about the whole mess. And someone going through this, I think it's important to have someone that you can look up to. You can't ignore what's going on. You got to deal with it one way or another. Being upset about it's not going to help. Have a positive outlook on it all. And Eric was the best at giving people that positive outlook. He would text me, and he was in 10 times worse shape than I was. And he would text me and say, hey, if there's anything you need, you know, you've got this. We're going to go party together. I was up here. He passed away on a Tuesday, and he texted me that Tuesday and said, hey, like, good luck at the doctor. And he died Wednesday morning. People's everything. People you've got around you, this place. That's all I've got. Can't ignore it. Find people that are going to take care of you. Trust them. That's hard when you get hit with, hey, you could die really soon. You second guess everything they tell you, but they've been right every single time. They haven't been wrong, you know? And when you think you're smarter than them, you're not. I wouldn't change it. I mean, we've talked about potentially moving out of California. The reason we won't is because of here. And it was pretty comforting. I don't know that it could have been much better. I mean, not being here, of course, would have been the best, but for what I've got, for what we're dealing with, I think it's pretty much the best place you could be.